The Intersecting Disability and Race, Implicit Association Test. This video talks about a research project where we tried to figure out more about how intersectionality works. We looked at attitudes towards disability and race. If you missed the first video in this series, about what intersectionality and attitudes mean, you should watch that video first, so it's easier to understand this video. Research hasn't always done a great job looking at intersectionality, especially when it comes to implicit attitudes, which are hidden feelings. For example, there's a popular tool that looks at implicit attitudes, called the Implicit Association Test, or IAT, for short. It gives people words and pictures and asks people to choose where they go, as quickly as possible, using buttons on the keyboard. For example, when choosing where pictures related to disability go, people usually are faster when disability is put with bad, and slower when disability is put with good. While the IAT is really helpful, it can only look at one identity at a time. For example, you can only look at people's attitudes about people without disabilities, or people with disabilities. The tool will not tell you how people feel about both disability and race together. But we need to figure this out in order to make things better. In this project, we created a new kind of IAT that looks at both disability and race together. The new tool is called the Intersecting Disability and Race Implicit Association Test, or the IAT for short. To make this new tool, we had 536 people take the IAT. We looked at the results to see what people think about disability and race. We also looked at how good the tool is. Past research has found that most people have negative attitudes about disability. Research has also found that most people have negative attitudes about people of color. In this study, we found that people had negative attitudes, but it was different when you looked at both disability and race together. We found that people liked non-disabled white people the most, then disabled white people, then non-disabled people of color, and then disabled people of color the least. By looking at intersecting attitudes, we are able to find out a lot more information. For example, we found people liked disabled white people a lot more than disabled people of color. How people felt was also different based on their own identities. For example, white disabled people liked white people without and with disabilities the most. They didn't like disabled people of color as much, even though disabled people of color also had disabilities. It was different for non-disabled people of color in the study. They liked non-disabled people of color, disabled white people, and disabled people of color about the same. Disabled people of color liked non-disabled and disabled people of color the same amount, but they liked white non-disabled and disabled people more. To make things better for people, and to improve attitudes, we need to find new ways to do research, including about intersectionality. That's why we made the IAT. Our research study found the IAT did a good job looking at hidden attitudes about disability and race. The research found that even though they might not know it, people feel differently about disabled people, if they are white or people of color. This is important because the more we know about how things work, the better job we can do at fixing things. With more research like this, we can try to make the world a better place for all people. This video was created by the Council on Quality and Leadership. This project was funded by the With Foundation.